Hello, I'm Kelly, and welcome to Kelly Loves Books and Movies. Today is my January wrap up, and about halfway through January, I thought I would not have much to talk about because I hadn't read a whole lot. But things caught up a little bit in the last half of the month. So, before I talk about what I read, I'm going to talk a little bit about something I bought. This was when I went on vacation to Panama. I spent a few days in Florida first to visit friends, and I went up to where I used to live, the flea market. The Friends of the Library has a little bookstore at that flea market, so I had to go. Every time I go to Florida to visit my friends or whatever, I always have to go to the bookstore. So I have been doing Norwegian on Duolingo for I think I hit my 1600 consecutive day sometime last week. So I'm a little over 1600 days, and actually there's only a couple days. I had like 300 days before I missed a few days, so only 2 days out of 1900 days I have not done my Duolingo. So you'd think I'd know something by now, but not really. I mean, I kind of do. But I was browsing and I saw these are hilarious. They're like little, I want to say I'm going to guess they're like romances, but I don't know for sure. They're kind of and they're series. And these were apparently like a free book. They like hook you with the free one and then get you to buy the whole series. And they're all in Norwegian. They're so cute, and I want to there was like 10 of them there, and I bought them all. And then I had to ship them home ahead of time because I wasn't going to take these with to Panama because my bags were already pretty full. But yeah, so then I went directly from the flea market to the post office to ship these home. And I found a couple other books there that I wanted, so but they were so cute. Yeah, new series. And then in the back it says the book is free. Yeah, free book for you. And then it tells you where to find the rest. And they're kind of old, so I'm sure I cannot buy the rest of them. But I've been looking for books in Norwegian that are relatively simple that I can, work through and figure out. And this kind of reminded me because these are romances in A League of Their Own when Madonna is teaching the Shirley Jackson character because she can't read, how to read, and they're reading trashy romances. That kind of reminded me of that. So I'll be working through these, and I'll probably get hooked, and I want the rest of the series, and I guess not. There's 10 different ones here, and they're all the first book of a series. So, yeah, funny. So, getting excited to try to figure these out and read them. All right, what I read in January. First up, Catcher in the Rye. I finished this month, and this was a reread to see if I would change my mind because I did not like it the first time I read it. I've already done a video about this. If I change my mind, spoiler alert, I kind of did. You can go back and watch that if you would like. Next up was one of the books I took with me on vacation because it was short, so I thought I would read it in no time at all. But Elena Knows, Claudia Pinheiro. Yeah, I thought I would have a lot more time to read when I was in Panama, and I did not. And even the time that I would have had to read, I was exhausted, so you'd fall asleep if you started reading. Ended up finishing, I probably got maybe a third of the way through, almost halfway through during the week, but I finished it, had to be at the airport for 6 hours before the last leg of my flight, so that's when I finished it. And I really enjoyed this book, even though the subject is kind of difficult, and all the characters are difficult. None of them are wonderful people overall. But I really liked it, and I definitely think I will be reading more Claudia Pinheiro books in the future. Basically, it takes place in one day. Elena, um, she has Parkinson's, and she goes to try to figure out what happened to her daughter who died. So that's basically it. It's her following her through the day on her little journey to talk to this person. And there's flashbacks that tell us how we got to that place to begin with. All right. So yeah, I really liked it. I will read more of her books. Now, what was that? Okay. Next book, Life Impossible, Matt Haig. This is the first book I have read of his. I have not read The Midnight Library, even though I think I do want to read it eventually, even though I know this and The Midnight Library, lots of people like it, lots of people didn't like it. I don't know. Overall, I did like this. I did not love it. It's about Grace, who is a widow and retired, and she goes to, she inherits a house from this woman that she knew, who she taught with many years ago. I don't even know how to describe it. Is this science fiction? Is it fantasy? I don't really know. Anyway, there's the book. I thought it was interesting the way the book told the story is like Grace is writing to a former student who's going through a tough time, and she's telling her story that way. That's how she tells the story. It's as a letter to the student, which, because there are times I thought, this is a little too, there's a lot of platitudes in here, and maybe a little too many, but then I realized she's writing to a student, and, you know, you probably would be that way. You're trying to encourage someone else. So I will probably do a separate total review on this. Again, I really liked it. Didn't love it. Maybe a little too much woo for me, but still, I enjoyed it. All right, next up was What Happened to the McCrays. I read this as my hardest reading challenge prompt. That's read a new release in the month it's released. Again, I liked it, didn't necessarily love it. It's about a guy who leaves town. He has to come back because his father had a stroke and take care of him, and we find out why he left, and it's not necessarily complicated, but I don't want to spoil too much because the way it sort of tells the story at the beginning, you don't know certain things, and if I talked about them, it would spoil it. But it's kind of by the numbers, sort of. Guy leaves town, lives a small hometown, guy comes back to his small hometown, you know. Do all the people who hate him when he left, do they still like him? You know, that sort of thing. I did enjoy it. Not necessarily anything earth-shattering, but it was a nice little read for a little bit. All right. Next up, Women, a novella. I don't know. I liked it. I didn't love it. Let's see. Does your therapist think I'm bad for you, Finn asks. I don't want to be bad for you. A young writer moves from the country to the city and falls in love with another woman for the very first time. From the start, the relationship is doomed. Apparently, the young people are all on this book. And if I were 20, 21, I probably would love this book. I did not love it. There was a lot of eye rolling from me in this book, but if I were younger and read this, I probably would have loved it. I get it. I get its importance to younger people, but overall, I was really annoyed with these people. I mean, it's like, come on. Anyway, but if it's your cup of tea, you might as well give it a try. All right, last up. Now, I was in a bookstore. I think it was a Half Price Books. And I was like, I didn't really know what I wanted to read, but I wanted something light. I was like needing fun and light and just something to get out of my head for a while. And I asked ChatGPT, I gave it some specific questions or criteria and said, what book should I read? I'm not going to tell you what those criteria were, but I don't know, is ChatGPT a guy or a girl? I guess it's a guy. I don't know. It can be whatever you want it to be, I suppose. And it suggested Delilah Green Doesn't Care. And this is pretty by the numbers romance. It was fun. I liked it. I really enjoyed, nothing earth-shattering again. But it did exactly what I wanted. So ChatGPT, good recommendation. Basically, it's another one of those girl leaves town, comes back, like Delilah leaves town as soon as she finishes high school. I think she went back maybe once or twice briefly, but she comes back to do the photography for her stepsister's wedding. Her stepsister has friends that she's had since she was a small child, then since they were little kids. They don't like the husband-to-be. Hijinks ensue. Pretty, by the numbers, formulaic romance, but a nice, fun, light read. And if that's what you want, you might want to give it a try. All right, that is all I read in January. It turned out to be not such a bad month. Thought for a while there I wasn't going to have much to talk about, but I did get a few under my belt after I got home from vacation. Thanks for watching. See y'all next time.